One of my favorite projects that I've ever done is from this book, Fast, Fun, Easy Fabric Bowls. This is what got me hooked on fast to fuse, which is what I wrote my book about. And I still love this book so much. So I'm going to show you how to make one of these beautiful bowls. They are really easy to make and very fun, and you don't need too many supplies for them. Of course, you need the thread, the fabric, and the fast diffuse, which is the stiffener. Now, these are the patterns. I always make the patterns out of poster board, and I did end up making quite a few of these bowls a long time ago, so I made all of the patterns. And so this is the one I'm going to use. It's a smaller size, and it's got that nice contrast in the middle. And of course, one of the hardest things is to pick out the fabric because there's so many beautiful ones. So because I'm going to put that contrast in the middle, I just measured how big the diameter is, and it was 5.5 inches. So half of that would be 2 3/4 inches. So I'm opening my compass to that size, and I'm going to make a pattern for that circle that's going in the middle, and I'm going to cut that out. So once I cut that out, that's ready to go. That's my pattern for that centerpiece. And it's going to fit right in there perfectly. Oh boy, look at these fabrics. I love purple, so of course I'm going to make my bowl purple. And this is the heavyweight fast to fuse, which is the double-sided fusible stiffener. And I need to cut 2 pieces of fabric, one for the front, one for the back of the fast to fuse. That's going to be big enough for my bowl pattern. So I'm actually going to fold a corner down diagonally because this will make kind of a perfect square, and just double checking before I cut it. Learn from me, measure before you cut it. And I'm cutting out the 2 squares, and I'll also have to cut the fast to fuse, which is a stiffener square. So here are the squares for the bowl, and they're big enough definitely for that. This will be the center circle. I love the green. Oh, it's always hard to decide which side am I going to put that on, because it looks great with both of those fabrics. So because one side will not be visible, I'm just going to use this wheat colored backing on it, which is Kona cotton. And I'm going to cut that square the same way. I'm just going to fold that corner down and cut that out. And then I have to cut my stiffener. And I'm using the medium weight for the circle because I want it to be thinner. So here's my fast diffuse that I cut for that. I'm going to sandwich those together and iron those. And now I'm going to cut the heavyweight fast diffuse. You can use heavyweight or medium weight, and you don't have to use the fast diffuse. That's just my favorite stiffener. It's my favorite because it doesn't have little droplets of glue on it. It's smoother than the other stiffener, and that's why I like it. So I just cut the square of the stiffener, and here's my backing fabric, and then I'm going to have to iron those together according to the directions. So you iron it with a dry iron first on the hottest setting. Here it is all ironed, and then you iron it with a steam iron. Now these pieces weren't too big, so they didn't take too long to iron those. And they did stick together very well. They don't always, but they did on this one. So I traced the circle, and I'm going to cut that out, and then I'm going to trace this pattern, and this is a little more complicated than the little circle. So I'm going to do the cuts first, and then I'm going to trace around the outside of the circle. I find these patterns very handy. Now, I made these patterns years ago when I first bought that book, and I was so glad that I could just pull them out and use them for this. And actually, I've used those patterns for other things as well, not just for these fabric bowls. So once I draw my pattern shapes on there, I cut everything out as exactly as I can. I love the way that looks, the green with a purple. That's probably one of my favorite color combinations, purple and green. I love that color combo. So I cut the bowl out as well, and then I have to cut those cuts out. Those will be sewn together with a zigzag stitch. Now, I love using Fast to Fuse because you don't have to finish the edge. You just sew it together and the edge is already finished. I just love this product so much. And this book, that I showed you in the beginning, is what got me very hooked on it. So, and I've been using it ever since. So, oh boy, which side do I want to be the inside of the bowl? Well, I'm just going to do the inside of the bowl, the solid, well, batik purple, setting my machine on the widest zigzag and a very small stitch so that they're close together. And I'm zigzagging just around the edge of that circle, attaching it to the bowl piece. Now, I did want to do a little decorative stitching on the inside of that circle, so what I ended up doing is sort of like a spiral. I just went around and around and around. I like the way this looks, but I also did it because if, for example, I wanted to wash this, which I probably wouldn't, but you never know. If you wanted to wash it, I would just want to make sure that that doesn't separate the fabric from the stiffener, because it shouldn't, but this will guarantee that it won't. So I just spiral stitched that on there, and I love the way it looks. Next, I'm going to close up these gaps, and all you do is you zigzag right down the middle so that you're catching both sides of the edges of those shapes. And I love the way this shapes the bowl. These slight curves that you're sewing is what shapes the bowl. Now, I did go around and sew those seams one more time to make them more filled in. And I'm sewing around the edge of my bowl now. And you just go all the way around. It takes a little while because it's such a dense stitch. And here it is. It's so beautiful. And you can turn it inside out. So I just love the way these come out. It's so fun to make, and I hope you'll try it. There we go. Gorgeous. I think I like this side better. I just love the way that looks. I hope you will try it.